Welcome to the fun part of eBay, buying stuff. So, after learning a little bit more about the Alpus board, started to look through eBay, just tried to look for older Xenon boards that had like a service sticker, whether it's untested or known issues. And during my searches, I found this little bundle here. This was $30, 2 untested 360s. Now, this one here did not have a photo of the power plug, but I was hoping off of the date it would at least be a Falcon. It is not. It is a Zephyr. So I do not have high hopes for this one. However, this one here, Xenon with a service sticker, which in the photos they kind of went back and forth, so I actually thought the Xenon had no faceplate, and I was worried about there being no other sticker up here. But I haven't taken the faceplate off, so we'll see what the sticker is like. But this one here does say 2011 service date. Now, it is pretty rough. Some broken stuff on here, but I don't know, I'm kind of 50-50 on this one. We'll see what happens. Now, since I was waiting on these, I actually found another listing that is even more interesting, which we will have in its own video, that looked quite a bit cleaner, at least not all, whatever all this stuff is. Oh, that's sticky. But it had a service date of the day after Christmas, and I was able to get it for $8.50, again, untested. Really excited for that one as well. We'll see what happens. We will have to see if that person was mad about working the day after Christmas or not. Now, during the searches, I also found this special edition Modern Warfare 2 360. I'll have to double check what I got this one for. It's a pretty good deal, especially for one that claimed to be working, just had a stuck disk drive. Now that it's in front of us, though, it is definitely the dirtiest one of the three, believe it or not. There is just a lot going on. I think we're going to go ahead and wipe all three of these down real quick before I touch them more. And we will start with this one so we can verify the functionality according to the listing. And then obviously these two, claimed untested. They look exactly like the photos. The box didn't see them all banged up or anything, so these are good to go. Whatever we got, we got. So after just a quick wipe down with a regular cleaning wipe, this thing, I mean, if we don't look at the the internal parts, it's definitely dirty in all the crevices. This thing's going to need a nice deep clean. But in terms of like scratching and whatnot, this thing is actually in pretty good shape. And even better, we have the matching hard drive, the 250 gigabyte, which, to be honest, in terms of the special edition fat systems, usually most of them don't have the original hard drive, especially like the Halo 3 one. But we need to go ahead and plug it in and see if it powers up. I guess I should mention this is a Jasper, and our date on this one is 2009, 9/3, and we are 3 for 3 on USB doors with this lot. This is my first Modern Warfare 2 edition 360, so I do not know if they were all Jaspers or different. I do know I've had other special editions that had different boards and different ones. Alright, so far so good. We have airflow out the back. Yeah. Alright, pretty standard stuff. And, I mean, it works, and the disk drive doesn't open, just like they said. So, perfect. Okay, still doesn't want to. Alright, first mystery system, this Zephyr here. Now, honestly, this is going to be the most impressive thing if this thing actually works. No warranty sticker, no service date sticker, and I mean, it's just a Zephyr, and these are very old at this point. All of these are very old at this point. So, usually when you're getting something nowadays that's untested like this, it's either going to work and probably be a solid system, or it's not, and it's probably never going to be unless you do some very extensive work. Just got a random faceplate here we can throw on here so we can at least press our buttons. And it looks like we have a BenQ drive. Yep, I figured. Not even trying to open. 0 1, 0, 2. So basically, bad GPU. Now, hopefully it at least still has the original heat sinks with X clamps on them. We at least have an HDMI shell here. Maybe parts from a BenQ. We'll have to see how bad it is. And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, it's kind of useless. Alright, what we've all been waiting for. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you like the Modern Warfare one. Why don't we wipe this one down first as well? Alright, that didn't do a whole lot, but it's at least a lot better. Now I notice over here it has a refurbished sticker in a few different languages. Not sure what that would mean. Obviously it's not a Microsoft service or refurbished sticker. So I don't know, I guess it was just resold at some point at some kind of store. We cannot plug this one into this TV, but we can at least see if it powers up. And if it does, we can plug it into an actual TV to see dashboard and all that kind of stuff. Now before we actually try powering it on, pretty important detail would be if the serviced warranty sticker is still intact. And it looks like it. Just kind of flaking up a bit because it's kind of dry rotted. Oh yeah, and it looks like we got a light on drive. Okay. It's hard to be optimistic with these, but here we go. Come on. Yes! Let's see if this thing opens. No way! No way, and we got a game. Look at this. What do we have here? Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. Heck yes. Okay, so now that I'm thinking about it, and if anybody knows, let me know. Is it even possible to get a J-taggable Elpis? I mean, I assume during the time period they were brought in, and they were probably still tested and updated at the time, which probably has firmware that's too high. But if that is the case, I mean, the ultimate goal would have been an Elpis J-tag to go in the liquid metal shell. But if we at least have a very solid Elpis that we can do a 1.2 on it, then, I mean, that's the next best thing. Still think that would be better than an Opus. But without further ado, let's see what we have. Come on. We've got picture. We've got clear picture. Alright. Okay, unfortunately, I can already hear the fans ramping up again. We gotta assume there's like no thermal paste, super old thermal paste, something like that. So we're gonna have to bust it open and take a look inside. So before we dive into the two more interesting of the trio, let's open up this Zephyr here and just take a look inside, see what's going on. I've got my Zero Fuse playing the greatest trilogy of all time. We already know this one came with no faceplates, no surprises there. This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. One, it has all six, but two, look at that. How did that not break off? Those things fly off so easily, but this one just not only is bent, but is completely S-shaped. What about the bottom side here? Alright, nothing weird about the bottom piece so far, actually super clean. We've got one of our missing pieces here, so that's nice. And we've still got X clamps. Well, hopefully, unless these are fake. And yeah, this thing is just overall pretty darn clean so far. I don't even see clumps of dust in all the little holes there. The top piece off, and we are still looking super clean in here. Now, my guess is because the warranty sticker was removed, I'm assuming someone took this apart, probably not a shop or anything, probably had the red ring of death, somebody carefully opened it up because we still have all the mounting hardware, and like I said, nothing seems to be really broken too bad besides that one side vent, and they must have cleaned it out, maybe tried fixing it themselves. We do have two copper heat sinks, this is a 3-pin fan, and the BenQ drive. But we're still going to tear it all the way down, see if we can do the simple overheat method, and see if it does anything after that. Alright, I am just still amazed at how in good shape this thing is. We even have, where are they? Thermal pads right here that are really nice. I actually took some nasty ones off of a client build that you'll see eventually, but I think I'm going to steal these and use them for that one. These are really nice. Now, heat sinks. They were a little hard to break loose, but I haven't lifted them up yet. Just got them to where I can pull them up. And what do we have here? Brown, nasty. But this here, wow. That is a nice heatsink. Heck yes, this is a fantastic parts one. What about this one here? Ooh. Yeah, these are really nice, really good shape. Really clean, which is good and bad. Alright, this stuff has been baked on here, very hard to get off. CPU, as usual, you can get looking pretty clean no matter how bad it is. So I think it's time to just apply some heat, see if it's going to help break some of that loose, and see if it's even going to try to work at all. Alright, I've got this plugged in here with nothing on it. I seem to have a slight power supply issue. So I have two 200 watt power supplies left. One of them I've already not really liked to use because it's a 3-prong one, and I tried to buy a 3-prong cable to go with it, and someone sent me just a generic 2-prong one. And besides that, when you plug it into the wall, as soon as you unplug it, it immediately turns red and shuts off. Although it does still, seem to work, but any Xenon I have, the fans start ramping up. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's probably, heatsink problem, there's no thermal paste, blah, blah, blah. But I'm really starting to think it's my power supply issue. It obviously seems to work fine on Jaspers and Falcons. But if there's a problem where the power supply is not creating its full 200 watts or it's not able to hold that steady, you probably wouldn't notice that on a Jasper or Falcon because it doesn't need that much. But on the Xenons, we're having that issue. And I think it's less likely to have... Oh, look at that. It just turned red. Okay. So I was going to say I can at least use this one on the Zephyr while we just try to overheat it, because the fan's ramping up. That situation doesn't happen when you just have it plugged in and power it on. It's when you have it plugged into an actual screen and it actually tries to boot up and does, it's actually on, not just powered up. That's when all of a sudden you'll see the problem with the fans. So that's our issue, and I obviously need to get some more, but I think for now I'm going to do what I did on my custom all-in-one Wii 360 PS3 in a PC case, all ran off of one power supply. And how I did that, I literally took one of these cables and cut it, and then wired those wires straight into a regular PC power supply. And I happen to have one, so I think I'm just going to do that now so that we can keep moving forward. Got it. Alright, there you can see the inside. You can just see blue, red, yellow, and black. This cheap power supply, this is super cheap. It's claiming up to 500 watts, which could technically run like 3 Jaspers, but I'm going to assume this is more like getting a Boss audio amplifier, and they say it's 2,000 watts, but it's like 1,200. But either way, this should still be way more than enough to test our 360s. And quite literally, I remember before wiring up, I did the same to a Wii power supply, the PS3 one, which obviously doesn't have a brick, and then the 360 power supply, and I just wired them up to this stuff here, and you can basically see red, black, and yellow. Exactly what we see in here, other than the blue, which I believe was just a signal one. I don't think that one had to be wired up. Here's your other end with everything stripped back. Ground, 12 volts, 5 volts. This is signal wire, don't need it. Pick one of these on the power supply, splice all the colors together, good to go. Alright, didn't say it would look pretty, but we've got ourselves a power supply here. We're going to test it out on this one, because it has a trash board in it anyway. So if everything goes right, this should have the red ring of death. So there's no standby. At least all of the stuff that's on 5 volt. There we go. 3 red lights. Otherwise, everything seems to be working fine. So, yeah, that's the only problem. Once you switch the power on the power supply, we're kind of bypassing any standby or that, I guess, that blue wire that tells it that it's actually ready to turn on. On. Alright, 2 lights. We're already there. I did hit it with the heat gun a little bit before doing this, and I guess we already got it to the 2 red light. So, we'll put a little thermal paste on there, put the heat sinks back on, and see if it's going to want to normally boot up. Alright, we got it plugged in. We shouldn't get the 4 light error because we have that plugged in, but we will get a flashing light for the DVD drive. Powered on. No way. Alright, let's finish putting it together and plug it into a TV. I forgot our disk drive wasn't opening, so let's open this up real quick and clean it out. Alright, no game inside, but this looks just as new and clean as everything else. Just the tiniest bit of dust here and there. Our belt was pretty darn loose, so we're going to use our trusty hair tie. They haven't failed me yet. Time to see if we actually have picture. Got the HDMI plugged in. And the power supply is off. Okay, take 2. Fans are nice and quiet. Pretty low dashboard. Opens and closes. Alright, we'll have to further test this one out and see if it continues to work or has any more problems. Alright, let's go ahead and open this one up, and I assume it's going to be just as dirty on the inside as it was on the outside. Uh-oh. Oh my god. Oh, we do have the USB door. Nice. Alright, I think this side's going to be a lot better.
I think this side's gonna be a lot better. Holy moly.
Just peeled up the warranty sticker for the first time, which is good. I'm glad nobody opened this and left it like that. That is still bad. Believe it or not, this is the only dirt on the inside. No, it's not. It's pretty bad. Let's get the rest of the internals out, and then we're literally going to wash this stuff like soap and water. Now, I bet the underside of the board is still pretty clean. Yep. Not down here. Now, we're literally going to wash all this stuff with soap and water, and while all of it's drying, we'll clean up the motherboard. Got all this stuff scrubbed out, and honestly, this really is in fantastic condition. This is probably turning into a feature-length film, but we got this dusted off. It's an old beard brush I like using. Nice and soft, and like I thought, this thing really does look brand new once the dust is off. Obviously, we got to get in all the crevices, but we'll get these heat sinks off, deal with all that first, and then we'll pop open the DVD drive and hard drive. I was a little concerned. It didn't seem like when I went to like my games or storage, it just kind of kept loading. So I don't know if there's just a whole bunch of stuff on this and it was taking a minute, or if there's something wrong with the actual hard drive, which would kind of suck because it'd be nice to have a 250 gig. I'm hoping these aren't going to be too bad. These are already loose. They aren't stuck on there, so all right, not as bad as the other one. don't have thermal paste everywhere, but there's obviously not really any left between the heatsink and the important part of our chips. Ew. But that kind of looks like it might scrape off rather easily, and honestly we're probably just going to grab, I should have plenty of the copper GPU heat sinks. See the difference of where we dusted and didn't? There's our Kronos GPU. Here's our heat sinks. I don't feel like scraping all that off. Plus we have a better copper heatsink right here that's ready to go. We'll just swap these over, and same with this one. This one's ready to go as well, so we'll just swap them over. This is all dry. It's looking brand new. Alright, now we're going to clean it with soap and water again. No, we're not. Now, this stuff I usually just kind of brush off and put in the pile with the rest. And grab one of the new clean ones that I have, and then once I'm out of clean ones, I just go back and clean all the dirty ones. Like the fans, all the fans are dirty, don't have any good ones. Go ahead, deep clean all of them with actually, isopropyl, stuff like that, and not just dusting it off. Same thing for like cables, RF boards, stuff like that. This one's actually really nice. Sorry guys, I lied. I'm cleaning this one up. I realized this is one of those Nidec fans, and these are just super quiet, really nice fans. Last time I had one of these was the Turbo 360. That one paired with the dead silent fan I had on top. That's why that one was, you couldn't even tell it was on. Okay, it's time to do this. I didn't want to, but it's time to do it. Let's open this up. We have a bonus disc. No. It's kind of hoping Call of Duty would be in there, but it's honestly not quite as bad as I thought. It's pretty much as expected. Especially, I mean, just, wow, look at how much it's caked up there. Incredible. So let's pop this tray out, get everything all cleaned up. We'll change out that belt. We'll use the trusty dusty hair tie. Our disk drive is in. However, I am still concerned it's probably not going to open because this one I think wasn't really as much of a belt issue, even though it was still kind of dry rotted. This one seemed to be having kind of an issue with the little catch that once the tray is almost all the way closed, that then allows the laser to come up. But we'll see what a full clean job and new belt does. Here we go. Ting tang, wada wada bing bang. Ooh. Cannot defeat the hair tie. Try it again. There we go. Good enough for now. Let's put it the rest of the way together. Got those silent fans. Awesome. So now we can kind of see the actual condition. There are definitely scratches. Definitely still need to get into some of those crevices a little more. I did leave the metal plate off completely. That's on the inside. It was all corroded on the ends. Backside panel. And as I was saying before, yeah, with the scratches, this is still in really good shape considering the age and how most 360s normally are. But this is black, so every little scratch you're going to see pretty easily. We got the top and bottom vents on. It's time to move on to the faceplate. And our only issue here is this USB door. Everything else is on there. It still flaps open and closed. We just got to put that spring in there, and we're going to use the old twist tie method since it looks like that plastic peg is missing that would hold the spring in place. Now, I've shown how to do this a few times before, but since these and the belt drives are the most common issues, it doesn't hurt to show it again. Well, if we don't include Red Ring of Death. Our bread tie here, and I like to leave the little sleeve on the outside of it, but I still twist it up just so it's a little easier to work with. We're going to slide that through our spring. And we're going to set the spring in place, and then basically you just twist the tie around this metal piece. Just kind of twist it together at the bottom. You can go underneath this little tab here. Okay, I lied. I had to take the sleeving off of that wire. I guess some bread ties just have a thicker sleeving on it, but there we go. Second thing you want to do, just a little dab of hot glue right where the spring touches the back of the door. You do the same on the memory card doors as well. It just helps keep the spring from sliding to the side and flying out. That's half the problem. The other half of the problem is that the plastic peg will just snap off, which there's usually not much you can do about that one. Alrighty. There we go. Everything's clicky. Perfect. We finally made it to another thing we gotta clean. Let's open this hard drive up. I mean, yeah, makes sense. Alrighty, here we go. That was a decent little moan there. Alright, now I'm not really worried at all about if it's the right disk drive to the motherboard. None of this stuff's been opened before, so it has to be. So I just had a random loose DVD we can try throwing in here. Let me get my controller set up. Alright, we're still opening. See if it'll read. Alright, loaded right up. Didn't hear it struggling or anything. So, let me know what you guys think. I think no matter what, we are going to RGH 1.2 this guy, and we might either leave it pretty much how it is, just kind of do what we did on the Halo 3 one. We did a window up here, added some matching LED color, and did a custom controller. Or should we go a step further, go more in the barricade territory? I know out of all the special editions, this is probably one of the more common ones. I'd say this one, the Halo 3, and we're talking all 360s, probably R2-D2 if you type in Special Edition 360. You're definitely going to see those three pretty quickly, I would say. And because there's not really anything going on over here, without messing with, obviously, the decals that make it the Modern Warfare 2 edition system, doing a window here, we could do disk drive delete, even though, I mean, this one with that hair tie belt seems to be fantastic. So let me also get out of this so we don't get in trouble there. But basically, window here, if we get rid of the disk drive, I have a 140 millimeter, oh, I forgot the name of the fan, the fluid bearing fan that's got green LEDs, and obviously I think I would leave green and green. And controller-wise, we'll probably use that, the Army, I don't know the exact edition, forgive me, but the one with the Army print on it. And then obviously custom buttons to go along with it. So yeah, let me know down below, as in below your screen, go ahead, write me a handwritten note and send it over to me. I guess I forgot, we need to check the hard drive, see if it shows up now. I didn't notice any damage on anything. After getting the dust off of everything, everything looked fantastic. So let's see what happens here. Oh, okay. Oh, sweet. So maybe there was just some dust or something in the plug-in there. Before it would just load and load and load. Games and apps, what do we got here? Ooh. Right, so they definitely have a lot of stuff on here. So 250 gig, and what did it say? 80 gigs free, a little more than half. So obviously if we do anything to it, we're going to clear that off. And that's the one thing I do have digitally is all the COD games, so we can put all of them on here and it matches. Alrighty, we have reached the main event, or hopefully Elpis. We will confirm that. And hopefully it is not as dirty as the last one we just did. Now we'll give you a little halftime if you need to go pee, grab a snack. Okay, I hope you're back. We're starting. We're taking this off. Here we go. Once again, first ones to remove. Oh, yeah, I think we're still the first ones. This is just so old. It's kind of flaking off, but yeah, I don't think, unless someone removed that very carefully. We'll see. Didn't notice this before. I'm hoping that's not because someone tried prying this open that way. So the way this just kind of tore at the end, and our DVD drive sticker still looks to be intact. Confidence is back up. Got all of our bolts there, and thank God still no signs of needing the vacuum cleaner on this one. Alright, pretty good. Let's take a look at our caps. Those all look good. Got our 2 copper heat sinks, our light on disk drive. Alright, let's pop everything else out. This is going to sound crazy, but I really don't think I have ever seen these fans before. These are definitely different. The center's bigger. They're heavy as heck. Sunan? Sanan? Somebody help me out with this one. I've really never seen these fans before. That is crazy. And why are they so heavy? Pretty standard bit of dust in here, not too bad. Pretty happy about that. We've got our heat sinks off. Pretty normal amount of dust. There's our Elpis chip. And of course we've got pretty much no thermal paste. So let's clean all this up and get some new stuff on there. I'll be honest, I fell asleep. And then briefly woke up and I think I put the heat sinks back on. So we have the heat sinks back on. Nice and clean. Clean the fan. At least most of the crap that was on it. And now that I think about it, I think I just had a dream. I remember having this fan one time before and thinking, what the heck is that? But yeah, if anybody has any other information on that, let me know. Now, the fan tunnel is dirty, but also has some other weird gunk on it. And I have a huge pile of those, so I'll just get a new one. Now, the disk drive. Let's crack this guy open. It was working. There is still a disk in there. So the inside here, I mean, looks just perfectly clean pretty much. Obviously got a little bit around the edges as usual, but we don't even have weird gunk all the way around where the disc goes. Just a little bit. Usually there's a lot of nastiness around there, but everything looks pretty good. Honestly, the only thing, this is probably the worst condition thing about this whole build, besides maybe part of the shell, is this thing right here. Holy crap. I see why this might have been left in there. We'll see if that actually reads. As we saw, this one was opening and closing just fine. I'm still going to change out to the hair tie. Fully committed to testing these out and actually seeing, the longevity of it. Got a clean fan tunnel and some cables in there. Got our DVD drive back together. Now the main thing I'm really worried about with this one is the fans ramping up. I have a few other Xenons and they're all having the same problem. I have one client Elpis Xenon that was ramping up before I ever took anything apart. But even with new thermal paste, full clean, even upgraded fans, it still seems to be doing it, which is why we did the whole power supply thing. I wanted to make sure it wasn't that, but even with the ATX power supply, it's already doing that. This one was doing the same thing. We're going to see if it still does it after adding thermal paste and all that. Anyone else who has more knowledge on the first-gen systems, if it's none of that stuff, is it the thermal diode? Is there another thing it could be? Let me know. DVD drive is in. We are going to use the shell it came with. It's not perfect, but it's not the worst one. Now we obviously did not clean the shell really on this one, just kind of brush it off a little bit. Now I see another one of those weird gaps right here. See that? Don't know if that's the faceplate. Looks like the faceplate. That's like kind of warped right there. Haven't really seen damage like that. Same thing on what we saw on that vent here on the bottom. It's just kind of like warped. I am just nervous to turn this one on. I'm really hoping it doesn't do the fan thing. Now that other Xenon we also had that needed all new caps, same exact thing. But that one, I don't think it was doing it before we ever really messed with it at all. However, I can't 100% confirm that because I know they don't do it when you just plug them in and turn them on. It's when they're plugged into the TV and actually do the full boot sequence and are actually fully on and running, then pretty quickly they start to ramp up. And of course, we can't hook it up to this TV, but we do still have this plugged in to trick it into thinking it's plugged into a TV so that it does its full boot sequence. We are using the ATX power supply. Now, I really hope this one's good. If it is, we've got a good contender for the liquid metal shell. Just would really want an Elpis board over an Opus to put in that shell. Oh yeah, that's even better with the hair tie. Still look good so far. Definitely cold air coming out. Alright, couple minutes so far. Feel like it would have started to ramp up at this point. Throw this disc back in there. Sounds like it's spinning up just fine. Fans are still holding steady. Alright, air's starting to get warm. But I can no longer hear the fans over the disk drive. That one is spinning up pretty loud. Oh. You hear that little... Okay, that was it, just that weird little hiccup. I think we might be good. It's still definitely getting warmer back here. Can really feel that hot air coming out by the CPU side. So, I think it's safe to say we're okay right now on this one. We'll obviously do a full test with TV, gaming, and everything, but I would prefer to at least put the fans up higher just to make sure the heat isn't going to be related to the, it thinking it's heating up, which I feel like is more the problem. It's kind of weird that they would ramp up like immediately before it's even getting warm out the back. Now real quick, we're going to take this board that was the one with all the bad caps around here, and they've all been replaced, even though this one's already bad. This one here is starting to bulge, and this one here is starting to bulge, so if you know anything about that, let me know. Looks like here does not say Elpis. This was an original Xenon, if I remember right. Come on. There you go. But anyway, like I said, this one was ramping up, so I'm just going to throw some heat sinks on it, put it halfway together, try it out with the ATX real quick. A lot of X clamps. Yes, this is bolt modded for now. We spent extra time to make sure these are perfectly even, flat across the chips, evenly snug on everything, not over tightened. Random fan in the back, and I'm just going to grab a top half shell to put over top here real quick, and we will test it out. Alright, now that we're ready to test this out, I just remembered that I actually did let this one fully overheat and go to the error code so I could get the code off of it. So this is just probably going to have the red ring of death. Alright, since we just wasted our time with that one, let's waste our time with this one real quick. This was the one we were going to run over. Totally broken, wouldn't do anything whatsoever, corroded board, everything's all messed up on it. And then we jumped on it a few times, and then it powered up. So I put some better heat sinks on it with actual X clamps, and then it stopped doing anything again. So let's see what it does now. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Alright, I guess there'll be a video on that one soon, investigating that further. So, I guess our only issue right now is the one client Elpis board that's still ramping up, that I tested on the ATX. Not quite ready to show you guys that build just yet. But if this person leaves a comment, you might recognize the logo. But this video is mainly about these three, and we actually got all three working, so I think in total for about $100, we've got an Elpis, Modern Warfare 2 Jasper Chronos, and a Zephyr that I kind of planned on being parts. Well, maybe we shouldn't take that sticker off and jinx it. But yeah, it seems to be working. So all these are ready for further testing. Not as worried about further testing this one. I mean, now that we've got it all fully cleaned out, it was working great before, other than the disk drive, which we have fixed, and of course the USB door. So this one's probably just going to get sent out pretty soon. Get that RGH done, and let me know what you guys think. As I said, should we just, add a little bit of LEDs, or should we go a little crazier? Take out the disk drive maybe, do a window with the kind of like a barricade build. I have a 140mm green LED fluid bearing fan we could put in there, put some kind of cool decal like we did on the Halo Xbox One. So each one of these will probably get their own video. We're going to further test this guy out, and as long as everything is solid with this one, this just might be the one going in that liquid metal, liquid cooled build. This one here, I have no idea. Even if it tests and seems to be working great, I would still probably put this in the category as our finicky Falcon, and this could be a new tier 0 build. We'll just kind of clean it up, maybe give it a paint job, some LEDs, some simple stuff, and basically sell it like we did with the Falcon. We just did a starting at 99-cent auction. Whatever it goes for, it goes for. It will be listed as parts. But yeah, until we further test it, we won't know 100%. And keep in mind, our Xbox 420 Blue Dream is still available, still listed. There still seems to be an issue with the eBay app. It doesn't show any sort of buying option. You have to go to the normal website. That seems to be the same for all of my listings. And this board is on its way back. That's going in this guy here. We can get that one put together. I realized in the last video when we did the dry test fit, I forgot about the controller, so we need to deal with that. And then this one, JTAG blades, with a couple little mods. And apparently we're going to revisit this thing. So basically, first feature-length video. Let me know what you guys think. This style, trying to do more shorts on a lot of the little things, and then, you know, we could either just do one longer form video a week, or just kind of split that up according to the analytics. We prefer shorter videos, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. That's finally it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you made it this far, might as well talk about the partnership a little bit. We do have the first set of perks, and I am happy to be open and transparent about the process. In fact, I'll tell you right now exactly how much I've made so far. Let me actually double check real quick here. And yeah, $0.00. So I think the only thing that's actually set up is like comments, like paid comments or something like that. I'm never going to ask you guys for money, but that seems to be the whole goal of the first set of perks, even the way they word it. Not really a huge fan, you know, turn your viewers into cash. It's like, I thought you guys and the advertisers were the ones with the cash. But we're still a little ways away on our watch hours to get the second set of perks. Need quite a few more watch hours or like 10 million shorts views, which I think I'm going to go for that one because I'm pretty close. I'm at like 19,000. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We're all done for the day. You guys can go ahead and go home. Have a good weekend. It's Wednesday.